Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. She's Stacey Mitchell. And we've got super agent, special guest here from our team, Lindsay Wark with an A, W-A-R-K. You can follow Lindsay on Instagram at Lindsay, Lindsay _Wark, W-A-R-K. And Nick is behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group with RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we're streaming live every single week on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. I feel like we only talk about interest rates on this show anymore. This has been the trend but it's a hot topic, right? So over the weekend, we saw some really interesting data come out around unemployment. The number of jobs continued to rise in November, and unemployment remained unchanged from the month prior, holding steady at 3.7%, with roughly 6.0 million people that are currently unemployed. This data is a little skewed because obviously it includes like 18-year-olds, and not everyone reports they're unemployed in some cases. And as a result, what happened from this, because this is good news, the Fed's been driving unemployment. They want that number to go up, which I still don't understand. That's a whole other story. Interest rates and the bond market kind of retreated, and we saw mortgage rates drop into the low 6% range. So what do you guys think about all this?
Yeah, that's exciting news. Seeing it go down to the low sixes, and just the fact that it's been going down rather than up when, even a month ago, a couple weeks ago, we weren't sure which way it was going to go. I mean, it's exciting news both for people being employed and for rates dipping and making, buyer affordability stronger.
Yeah, anytime the interest rates continue to drop, it's always positive news to me. I'm just always intrigued by these unemployment numbers and where they come from. I would love to have a more broken down, like where do they capture these numbers from? Who are they getting it from? There's a lot of people that don't, they might not record, like you said, or report their employment, so they could be considered unemployed. I don't know. There's a lot of people that are employed in very unconventional ways, so I guess they're not employed. Self-employed. So, there's a lot of gig workers and, online businesses. So it's always intriguing to me that they continuously try to change these and influence these numbers. And what something has told us over the past couple of years is it's hard to predict what's going to happen. Nobody knew that COVID was going to happen. Nobody could predict that we were going to shut down the country. Oh. You know what I mean? I mean, shut down a country? That's like the world, right? So everything's very unpredictable. They still try to predict these things and go by the same standards. So to me, what they're trying to achieve might not be achievable, even though they are honestly trying to get the economy to go in a negative direction with the unemployment. They're trying to inflict pain on people, as harsh as that sounds, but it is the truth, because they want the unemployment rate to rise. And in order to do that, people have to become unemployed. So there has to be layoffs, stop the spending, drops the the inflation rate. And then, I think it's really aggressive that they want the inflation rate to be in the 2%. So I don't know how they're going to achieve that without severe economical peril.
So here's how they calculate the unemployment rate. So I took some Google research here. So this comes from Investopedia, and the unemployment rate, it's not measured by the people collecting unemployment insurance. That's not how they do it. So the unemployment rate is measured by the Department of Labor. It's actually the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this government agency conducts a monthly survey called the Current Population Survey that involves 60,000 households. And these households are selected using random sampling to generate an approximation as close as possible to the larger population. The problem with this is there's 333 million people in the U.S., so they're taking 60,000, and then once they take that 60,000, they have to determine how many people in the household are part of the labor force. So if you got an 18-year-old kid at home, like that can be factored in. If you have younger kids, that's not going to be factored in. So That's how they determine it, and they just use a straight percentage. So it's probably not the most accurate thing. I think to your point, Stacey, getting inflation down to 2% is going to be tough because a lot of people, like 3 to 5% is kind of the norm, and that's what we've seen with housing price appreciation in a normal market. So I just don't know what the Fed's going to do to drive that further because it seems like the market's reacting the way they want. Inflation data was softer in October. That caused mortgage rates to come down from like 7.25 to 6.5. The Fed meeting is coming up next week, and they're talking about only a 50 basis point increase instead of 75. That's like a 76% chance, according to the CME rate predictor tool that's out there. So I don't see how they can keep pushing this rate policy if this data continues. I mean, am I off base here, or what are you guys seeing?
That's what's not making sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
The 60,000 people sampling, now I understand. It's so antiquated. You would think that they would try to update the way they measure these numbers. Come into
Right.
2022. Right. They had a lot of time during the shutdowns, to really dig in, to reconfigure some things, the way they sample. But yes, that makes sense to me now how they're getting these numbers because that a 60,000 person sampling or household sampling, it does make sense.
And then, I mean, do we know what percentage of the people? So you have your unemployment rate. And then do we know what percentage of those people collect unemployment, like, payment benefits? Because it would be, if the Fed wants that unemployment number to go up to then drive down spending, to have that, battle inflation, depending on what percentage of people in that category do get unemployment benefits and unemployment payments, and I don't know exactly how that factors into what percentage of payment for your job you get, but if you're still collecting an income or I don't know,
right.
It would be harder to battle it out.
The gig workers, and there's a lot of side hustles that don't necessarily report. So there's a lot of money in the economy still. So people are still spending. Yeah. So with the supply and demand, if people are spending and there's demand, there's gonna be inflation.
Mm-hmm.
But you even said you looked at the data from Black Friday, and the spending was way, way down.
Yeah, it was only up 1%. But considering, 1%, and this is just online sales, but if you looked at some of the sales coming out Black Friday, there's no data on it. It was 50% off everything. It was, so because of that, and knowing that inflation was as high as 8%, it's still way below their forecast, and they had to give heavy discounts. So the profitability's not there, and that's what people aren't talking. Just because the volume's there, that doesn't really matter. It's no different than the real estate team that has all this volume and their profit percentage is 1%. Well, who cares how many houses you're selling? So I think that's going to be the challenge here for a lot of retailers.
And retailers are facing some tough times too because of all the retail theft. So I think what was Target? It was like $400 million, in retail theft. So
are you kidding me?
It was huge. It was a huge number. And this is another thing that people aren't talking about because doesn't that factor into it somehow? I mean, no wonder retailers have to, they increase their prices, but then they still have to give the discounts for, for the holiday, the spending. Right. Yeah. But retail theft is huge. It's been a big issue for a lot. I mean, there's Walgreens are shutting down in certain places. There was Starbucks that shut down in
How do you
Philly.
Steal from Starbucks?
But I'm just saying, but the retail, the stores, Ulta, Target, Walmart. I mean, they're closing stores in certain areas that are affected by this crime because it's cheaper for them to shut down the stores than to continuously try to restock and
and brick and mortar's already been on its way out for a little while now too. Tough, so just having all of this on top of it, I feel is huge. Yeah.
I mean, I don't go to stores. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I like shopping for food is one thing. You want to go pick out whatever you're making and all that, but I can't remember the last time I went to a store and I was like, great, I'm going to Target, or I'm really excited to go to the mall today. It's just not something I'm interested in.
Right.
That's really interesting. So to answer your question, the adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.1% for the week ending November 19th, according to the U.S. Department of Labor. So it looks like not everyone's collecting, even though the rate's higher, which makes sense because I don't think a lot of people go when they say they want to collect and they want to do all that, especially when they're looking for another job. So it's about a third, I guess we can call it, a little less than that. So, with all this, I think there's the retail thing is a whole nother angle. When I'm looking at this, I mean, I see that the rates came down, right? So it looks like the Fed is kind of the last one to the party here. So what does this mean for consumers? And that's what this show's all about here. People buying homes and looking to sell homes. Are we going to see rates continue to trend this way? Are they going to go back up after the first? I mean, I think this meeting is going to be really important that comes up on December 14th for the Federal Reserve. So how do we see this playing out? Because a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about 8-9% mortgage rates. I don't know how viable that is now. I'll be the first one to say we might have been wrong there. What are you guys anticipating happens looking at all the data here, reading this article on Housing Wire from Logan Madashami and all their great their authors and experts over there? What do we think happens the rest of the year and early January?
I think that I think there's a chance they could creep up a little bit after this meeting. It's on the 14th? Mm-hmm. So I think after that meeting, they could creep up a little bit, but I think that we've, for a little while, had the prediction. I don't think the prediction has changed for the last couple weeks of going up 50 basis points. So I think the market has already kind of banked on that and maybe factored that into things a little bit. So we could see a slight uptick, but I don't see anything major happening from that particular meeting on the 14th.
I have to agree with that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't know if it's my wishful thinking or not, but
right.
But I really think that the interest rates are going to hover in the same area here where they are.
Yeah,
I think especially to kick into the new year, when they ticked into the 7s and the mortgage application rates dropped. Yeah, and that was a real eye opener, and a lot of the mortgage companies, everybody's come to realize this is not gonna be helpful.
Right.
So I think this is the sweet spot. The low 6s is a sweet spot because people came back into the fold of wanting to, go out and look for homes again. So I think that's where it's going to continue to stay.
And I think that's really reassuring and a safety for the buyers, especially knowing that okay, we're hopefully not going to see huge swings anymore. You're this is where you're at, and if the payments match what you can do, this is they know that this is where it's going to stay. And along with the unemployment not going up, that you're not about to lose your job. So I feel like that's huge of a safety for buyers to feel comfortable, rejoining the market when they had previously pulled out.
Yeah, and I think that not having big swings on a weekly basis makes you feel like you're not making a mistake by going in and entering the market and getting the rate where it is right now. It's not, because when you do have that uncertainty of next week it might drop a full percentage point or something like that, it's it creates doubt.
Plus those big swings, what we saw during that time when they went up so incredibly quickly, there was a lot of terminations of contracts because buyers couldn't afford then what they initially got into. So I think just to keep everything kind of even keel and smooth, those big jumps, it's definitely not good for the market.
When you look at the October data, I mean, October sales were down dramatically. We saw a 17% cancellation rate in the month of October nationally. So everything you're saying is supported. That's a very high cancellation rate. When it comes to the jobs, what I'm seeing here is that if you look at April of 2020, a ton of jobs were lost during the pandemic, and we recovered all those jobs by September of 2022, and job openings were still over 10 million at that time. So, and if you look at the breakdown of the employment change in each sector that's seasonally adjusted through November, the biggest place where we're losing jobs is retail, trade, transportation, and warehousing. It's all the other, education, leisure, hospitality, government, financial activities, construction, manufacturing. We're seeing big increases there. So it's a lot of these industries that are, to me, ripe for disruption, and people have kind of gone away from over the past 2, 3, 4 years, because when the pandemic happened, a lot of people, they made the decision not going to leave their house anymore. I think there's a lot of more sedentary human beings in the U.S. and in the world than there have been in the past. So, and then what I love here is we actually, if you only count people who are 20 and up, the unemployment rate's 3.4% for men and 3.3% for women. An 18 or 19-year-old without a job, if they're in college, fine. They shouldn't. I don't know that that's even.
Shouldn't even be included, I feel like.
So the people that don't go to college. So, but you gotta kind of put an asterisk next to it. It's got to be adjusted, and you can make data say whatever you want. So seeing that we've recovered all the jobs, that this is where the market was heading before the pandemic. I think everyone forgets this. Before that, we were seeing 5% rates. 4% was kind of like, if you got like below 5, it was a big deal. And so because of all this looks like where the economy would have been had the pandemic not happened. Remember, the government came in and put a lot of cash in the system and did a lot of different things. So that's why we're seeing they made this housing run happen with a lot of their policy, and now folks are realizing it's not sustainable. I mean, we've been through all that. So first quarter outlook, are we going to see more people come back into the market? Are rates going to stabilize? Are they going to go down even more? What are our predictions here? Because I think that's what a lot of people want to know, and it's the questions. I don't know. I'm getting asked a lot. I know our agents are asking a lot. I'm sure consumers are asking you this stuff. What kind of questions are you getting, and how are we fielding them right now? Because there is a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace, even with the good news.
I think there's going to be, come January, I think there's going to be an uptick in, both buyers and sellers. I think that there are people that for this, end of year they're like, I'm gonna reconvene here come January. So I think that we're gonna see things tick up there. As far as rates go, I think we're still gonna be in the sixes, hopefully low sixes for the first quarter, and that's my prediction.
I feel that there's a lot of folks waiting till early next year to come back into the market. I think there's some fatigue out there, with the head spinning of the interest rates and the election. There was so much going on. It was very distracting. So people just want to chill for a little bit. They're taking some time, and I think there's going to be a lot of people coming back in early next year, buyers and sellers. And I think the interest rates are going to stay about the same in the low to mid sixes, which is very, very positive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I know, historically, the beginning of the year, the spring market is, always picks up. I think it's going to be another really wild ride for this spring market, especially if it stabilizes and everyone knows where everything's at. People are gonna jump for sure.
Yeah, there's been this constant waiting. I felt the past. There's some people that jumped in and they transacted, and they're probably pretty happy they did, given what's happened with the market. There's these other folks that are just so gun-shy right now. They're so uncertain, and it's like those overly analytical people or the ones that are just afraid to make a decision. I think that's been a big challenge in the marketplace here. So what I anticipate happening is I think rates are going to kind of float around 6. I don't think that's going to change too much, especially seeing the market react before the Fed meeting. I like that because that tells me the market knows what's going on. There's certainty about what's going to happen, and it's not this – because it was kind of a surprise when they raised rates in the spring, 75 basis points on the federal funds rate. That was a big surprise. Now there's no surprises. I don't like surprises in business personally. I like to know what's coming. I like certainty, and consumers want the same thing. So the consumers out there that if they're really serious, I'd be starting my search or selling process now. I think it's a mistake to wait for after January, after February, because then you're playing catch up to the market. People don't listen to this. I say it every single year. And every single year, the people that are in the market in January, they get a little ahead. They can beat the competition, and they're a little more savvy with market conditions. So if you're one of those people that wants like a Q1, Q2 move, I'd be meeting with an agent right now, a local agent who knows the market. For the realtor side, this is not the time of year to go on a 30-day bender with an ugly sweater and drink an eggnog all month. And I mean that seriously, because there is opportunity out there. There's people with intent. I mean, we're talking about writing offers. Listings are selling that didn't sell a month or two ago. You had one this week that you just put under contract that was with another agent, Sarah. So we're seeing this stuff happen all the time. I'd be filling up my pipeline as much as I can. I think this is the best time of year. In fact, I know it is, to have conversations, set meetings, and and maybe you don't list until after the first of the year. Maybe they don't buy something until after the first of the year. It doesn't matter. You're going to be locked in as their agent. So when the first of the year comes, they're going to have the relationship and you're locked in. There's business to be done right now, and a lot of agents just aren't used to having that 30, 60, 90-day lead up to a transaction. That's how it's been as long as I've been doing this, except the past 2 years, and that's where the challenge is going to come. So I see the month of December as something that's ripe with opportunity, and I'd be taking full advantage if I was a consumer and if I was a real estate agent. I mean, that's just my take on it. So anything we want to add in here before we take a quick break? Did we say it all?
I mean, I think that like covered a lot of things. I think that, yeah, especially like on the listing side, well, both sides. I mean, if you're on the buying side and you want to come out like guns blazing for, let's say you are like, I'm waiting until after the holidays, but January 2nd, let's say, you want to like head out there, get your ducks in a row now, because there's going to be a lot of individuals that are putting themselves in that same boat. So like getting like a couple days head start on them can make the difference. And for people that are considering listing their home, there is prep that goes into it. It's not like, all right, I met with my listing agent today and I'm going to list my house tomorrow. Like, you can have super quick like turnovers, but if you want to have the right marketing plan in place, you want to have time to do like little things to kind of increase that showability of your home, like start talking now so that you can go with like at the beginning of the year.
For sure. Well said. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, and that goes for the consumer too. It's an alliteration. I had to practice that, but it's so true. How many times have you seen the consumer like, oh, I want to go buy this house. It's my dream home, Lindsay. Yep. And they have nothing done.
Right.
Or I got to sell my house right now because I got to buy this other home. Right. And they have nothing. It's an impossible task to win in the marketplace because the best homes always sell quickly. And if you think it's just your dream home, I got news for you. It's somebody else's dream home too. So that's really great advice. And I mean, we've seen that happen. It never works. It's the people that prep are going to be the ones that can take advantage. So I think that's a great message, Sarah. And anyone listening right now that wants to do that, get in touch with an agent, understand that, because that's going to be your best way to understand what's happening in the market. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the naughty and nice list in real estate for 2022. This is Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We've been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized, local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us. It's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com. Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
We are back on Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. She's Stacey Mitchell. And we have super agent team member in the house, Lindsay Wark. And Nick is behind the camera. And we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we're streaming live every single week on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and check out our stream every single week. So, it's the holiday season, right? We should have worn ugly sweaters for this or some sort of plaid blazer or plaid pants or something like that. I find this year-end stuff always pretty interesting because it seems like January and February was like more than a year ago. I mean, it seems like it's very far back. And similar to our turkeys of the year, this is a little different. The naughty and nice list for the real estate industry in 2022. So who's got somebody? Who wants to start? I've got a ton of things here. We can go nice. We can go naughty first. I mean, you tell me. But I thought this would be a good way to review some of the key players in the industry and some of the people that are helping folks on a daily basis.
Well, I'll start out with someone on my nice list, and that would be a cooperating agent that's working alongside me with a deal that actually knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? That would make my nice list. And that could probably go to that sales skills. I'm not sure. But that's always so helpful when you get someone on the other side and you're like, oh, my goodness. Yay, thank you so much, because we're going to be able to get through this. Yep. It's somebody that, doesn't have the highs and lows and actually picks up the phone or gets back to you with the important information. Yeah, so that made the nice list. Yeah.
That's a really good one because I think the key term there is cooperating agent. Like, you're not at war with these people. You're here to get to a common goal, and a lot of agents forget that. They want to be abrasive. They want to be nasty. They sometimes they talk down to folks, or they tell you how long they've been in the business. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. An agent in the business 6 months could be just as good, if not better, than someone in the business 15 years. So that's a really great point, especially in the market we're moving into, Stacey, because I'm clear that agents with skills and the ones who can understand how to get a deal done are going to be even more valuable, especially for their clients. Great point. Love that. What else we got here, ladies?
Yeah, well, this is just kind of taking a piece of that, but people that answer their phone and respond to you.
Okay, I like that.
That just... it makes everything go so much smoother. Like, the worst feeling is when there's a deadline due or there's something you need an answer for and you're just not getting the response and you can't move forward with anything until you get that, and you're just like refreshing your email or like checking your phone and you're like, get back to me. Mm-hmm. So people that respond.
You think about this, though, I mean, and you're talking about clients specifically. They've got these deadlines. I know you've had some people like this where it's like, okay, we got a time frame to do this, and they push it so far. It can't, and it's like literally minutes before you're supposed to respond to something. You're writing an addendum at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. To me, that adds unnecessary stress to them. Forget us. It makes it harder for them the way they treat these things. I don't know why people want to go through that. I want to be as least stressed as possible in these transactions, not the other way around. So that's a really great point because I see it happen all the time. Lindsay, you got any people on the nice list here?
I would say, or like even working with like the title companies, like so communication in that same sense, like working with the title companies and lenders and things like that. Those also, if we're sticking with the communication kind of thing, those can be really frustrating sometimes. So making sure that even on your end, the organization that you need to make sure that you're keeping track of everything, so that you can work with the nice people.
I love that because it is a team effort to get these things to settlement, right? And I don't think it's not just title companies; it's mortgage companies too, right? Like the lender you can never get a hold of, and they only email you back. Does that ever help? Never, right? So communication. There's a theme here, right? And I think that's pretty good. Excellent point because it's everyone blames the realtor. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter if I picked my own title company; they're not calling anybody back, and it's your fault. Or they're mad at you because they made a decision they don't like now, and it's your fault. Do you remember when I told you not to do that? So I find that pretty interesting. So I got a couple here. One guy we just talked about. So Logan Matashami at Housing Wire, I feel like he's really helped folks, and his articles are long, and they're very detailed. It's helped people like me really understand what all this Fed rate hike climate has been like, how to interpret economic signs. And it hasn't been easy, but it's helped me communicate that to our consumers and to the people on our team. And he's really been, he's posting something every 2 or 3 days here. This isn't like a once a week sort of thing. And this has been like a day-to-day market with what's going on with all these economic uncertainties that are out there right now. And to me, he has been one of the voices of reason in a world full of clickbait, fake headlines about what's going on in the market. We talk about him, I feel like, every week on the show. How have you guys been able to? Because I'm sending you his articles all the time. Has that helped you understand the market a little better from like an economic standpoint?
Absolutely, keeps me in real time, so that I can pass all this great information along to my clients.
Love it.
Knowledge broker.
Knowledge broker, right? No, I mean, and you could put Keeping Current Matters in there. I think they provide a very similar service.
Absolutely.
Tom Ferry, obviously, we work with him, and he's always pushing understand the market, because if you don't understand it, you can't communicate about it. And there's agents out there right now, and this will maybe a good transition to the naughty list, that they don't know what the heck is going on. And can you imagine relying on them for like you're spending a $700,000 purchase, an $800,000 purchase, and relying on those people to tell? And I don't know. Right, yeah. I mean, literally, what if you would have said that to one of your clients? What would their reaction have been?
They would have dropped you. They would have moved on to someone who can actually help them. They're not gonna. This is a huge purchase. This is one of their biggest assets. They need someone who knows what they're doing, knows what it means when you purchase a home, and how that whole process is gonna go. And yeah, they're gonna drop you if you don't.
Well said, Lindsay.
As they should.
All right, so we got the nice list. I think that kind of covers it. We hit on sales skills, I think competent agents who are working on their business is kind of the theme that I'm hearing here. So let's go to the other side, the naughty list. So who's getting coal in their stocking this year from Santa Claus?
Well, number one would be the Fed, that's for sure.
I like it. So tell us why, Stace.
Because they are what they're trying to do to the economy. They're trying to so much bring the inflation rate down to probably an unreasonable level in a very short period of time. So it's wreaking havoc. It's a lot of folks are uncertain. So creating that uncertainty, I think, is worse. So for the feds to not be on board, they seem so out of touch with everything. To me, they definitely made the naughty list on the whole Fed.
How do you feel about their rhetoric that they're trying to crash the housing market? Because
that's so disappointing to me. I just don't, that whole language, and I've read that numerous places, and it was said, sorry, there's going to be pain. People have to lose jobs. So to me, it's just disappointing that you would ever do something so negative against, people. It's painful.
A lot of people's nest egg is in their house, and I'm not saying that's the right investment strategy. It's just the reality of what happens. Yeah, and there's a lot of folks that really feel pain there, and it's that their whole goal is they sell their house, they go retire somewhere, they have a lot of equity in there. So it's almost like sometimes I feel like we're selling the American dream, because like everyone's like, it's such a big deal for people to buy a home, and if you're saying, hey, we're going to crash that market, good luck. Like what I mean, that's the government's supposed to be supporting its citizens, not the other way around. So I do agree with you. It is disappointing is a great word to explain it.
And there's the folks that I really am concerned about, the ones that are maybe they're the first person in their whole entire family trying to buy a house, trying to build a better future for their children and grandchildren. I talk to folks like that a lot. And to me, if they're shut out of the market, that's devastating. How can they build their generational wealth? How can they get started?
And that'll affect the next generation too.
Absolutely.
It's not just something small. That's huge.
It's huge.
That's a great point.
I would say another one for the naughty list would be like news channels or news sources that do put forward those like clickbait
that was mine.
headlines that confuse people, and like just rather than the news being a source that brings knowledge and like understanding of what's going on, it creates chaos. So I would say like purposefully creating these like clickbait headlines or this different like jargon and rhetoric that isn't actually what is going on.
Well, I think news has gotten commingled with opinion journalism. Okay, so there was news, and then there's opinion journalism, which appears to be news, but it's not. Mm-hmm. So I think, and that's what is a lot of the clickbait. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of these,
it's all opinion based.
Exactly. Yeah. Not based on facts, not based on data. It's just based on somebody's opinion, right. Mm-hmm. or what they thought would get clicks, make them some money, build their audience. So I think that that's a disservice to our country, to people who want to actually just news. Just give me the news with no inflection in your voice, with no, no opinion.
Right.
Just read
what's
the
happening.
News.
Yeah,
that's it.
I feel like that's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
So, like Jim Gardner, right, from 6ABC, he's retiring this year. So he's the only guy I ever remember on and I'm a big action, I like action news for a lot of reasons. He's that guy. there's not many people left like him. And I think that's where it becomes challenging, because a lot of people have, like, I mean, you look at these political talk show hosts. Like, it's either, you know what you're getting watching these channels. And it's either, like, if you want to get one side, go watch this channel. If you want to get the other side, go watch this channel.
Yeah,
and
where's the channel for just what's happening? Right. You know?
It's Jim Gardner, and he's retiring. That's it. So, and he doesn't talk about this stuff anyway. He's talking about, all, you know, what's like a kangaroo escaping from the zoo or something. So it's that's a great point. And how hard does that make your job?
Oh, it's very difficult.
For all of you here.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
we
just
deal with it all the time.
all the time.
All the time.
And people
It's like,
just are. They saw it on the news, and so the news is the expert, and not you. When we're the ones dealing with it every day, when we're the ones doing all the research, you know, well, someone was on TV or someone wrote an article, so it, you know, they're automatically they think of them a little bit higher,
Right.
or more knowledgeable. So it's really hard trying to give them the facts and send them the correct articles or correct stories, and yeah, it's difficult.
You know, it's unfortunate because realtors get a bad rap in a lot of cases because they just try to jam home deals. And that's obviously not anyone sitting at the table here. It's not how we operate our organization. But then you have this stuff happen on top of it. And then they really don't trust you. And then your actions have to back it up. And it's like a constant interview. So that's a great point, Sarah and Lindsay. I think that's probably one of the every single news outlet. I mean, literally, you could just group them all in there.
They're getting truckloads of coal.
Yeah. Santa's not coming to their house.
No way.
The Santa tracker's not going. All right, I got a couple others. Anything else you ladies wanted to add in here?
I think something naughty could be like the bad habits that so many realtors picked up when the market was just wild.
Well said.
There's so many different bad habits that, you know, whether it's just like sloppy listings or, you know, just lack of communication, lack of negotiating skills, just the lack of skills in general, I think needs to go. They're on the naughty list. It's all getting coal. It makes everyone's job so difficult.
Well, you said something. We just had a coaching session right before this, Lindsay, and you said something there that was actually, I think it's so smart. And Stacey, you've told this to me, and so have you. And you guys probably don't even realize this. You look very impressed with yourself here, Sarah.
I don't know what this great knowledge is, but
I don't need more leads. I need to work the leads that I have. There are so many people out there like, I want more opportunities. I want more leads. And it's a numbers game. These leads convert at a certain rate. Like there's an expectation. Maybe you can squeeze out a percentage point here or there. Having 1,000 leads versus having 200, I'd rather have 200 every time that I know I'm going to work. And that there's so many agents out there that don't want to do the work. They don't want to follow up. Because think about what's going on the other side here. It was easy to do deals the past 2 years, and the deals were still hard. Don't get me wrong. It was easier to put yourself in a position to do a deal because the buyers had so much intent. The sellers had so much intent. They knew what they were getting into. And if one lead didn't work out, you could just catch another one. There was a waterfall of opportunities. We saw 18% more homes sell above the historical average than ever before in 2021. Well, now it's kind of the opposite. And when you can build a relationship, be the expert, you know, it's not about having all, you want to have a good amount in your client base, but it's not having all the opportunities. It's working the ones you have. And that's right in line with what you're talking about, because I see a lot of agents make this mistake. They want to take all the leads and they convert none of them. And it's a bad habit. It's like going to bed late when your parents tell you to go to sleep, like happens in my house all the time. I don't know about your guys, but that's a common theme in mine. You don't eat your vegetables. You don't brush your teeth. Like that's an agent bad habit that will cause major problems here. And I think that's and it's right in line with what you're talking about. Some folks think I just need all the leads, and they want to collect leads instead of do deals.
Right. That like stresses me out, having like too many things going on and feeling like you're not like, because stuff slips through the cracks.
Oh yeah.
You're never going to convert all the leads, but when you excessively take too many and then you can't work any of them, it's just even a bigger problem. So I'm in total agreement with that one, and that's really in line with what you said, Lindsay. So I got a couple others here. Anyone else got anything they wanted to add? All right. So stock prices of Compass and Redfin not doing well, right? Redfin peaked at $82.70 in 2021. You know where their stock is now? $5.62. They need to sell the company. That model's not going to work in the current climate. I've seen Redfin agents cost people money in transactions we have done because they compete on price. They think they're saving a little bit on the listing side, then their agent, lack of skills, like no offers in hand, they bid above the asking price anyway. This happened on one of my listings last year. Compass, the same thing. They had this IPO. I feel bad for the agents that took the Compass stock, by the way, because that was the I couldn't imagine because I wouldn't have done that. But that's me. But it's worth nothing right now. It's like a $3 stock, and that company's it's $3.02. They had a big rally because they were up from being down to $2 a couple weeks ago. So it's a problem. I mean, and these companies that continue to burn cash. The funny money's running out, and I think that's going to be a big problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if both these companies get sold in the next 6 to 12 months because it's just not sustainable right now. They got investors. The investors want their money back. It's a problem. They rallied from $1.85 on Wednesday, November 9th, up to $3. So I guess it's a big day that they're up to $3 now.
I wonder what the rally was all about.
I don't know.
They had more investment.
Yeah, something big.
They had more Saudi Arabian money that came in.
Exactly. Yep.
It'd be great. And I think the whole point is, though, when you're trying to acquire talent through, hey, we're just going to buy you, it's like sports where like the teams that spend heavy on free agents, rarely does it work out for them. Instead of tactical shopping, meaning you're bringing in the right person that's the right fit for the organization, when you're just buying everybody, like you're a football fan, right? Remember when the Eagles had the dream team and it blew up in their face like horribly wrong? Happens all the time, right? I think I lost Sarah on the Eagles dream team one. So.
Wait, what year was that?
Oh, this was like, I don't know. It was Andy Reid was still here. It was a long time ago. So, it's okay. But the point is, though, I think that I think companies are going to have more value by what they're bringing intangibly instead of just like throwing money at people. I think that's a bad business move. It's been talked about a lot, but both those companies are in a lot of trouble right now. I don't see how they make it out of this. I mean, Redfin's got a good website, so they have that going for them. At least that's an asset.
They could sell that.
I think they focused a lot on the short term, but forgot about like the long term.
Great point.
Game. So like if you're only just focusing on the short term, like it'll be great for X amount of time, but then after that you're gonna plummet because you didn't stack what you needed to and get the skills and get what you needed to for the long term.
Mm-hmm. Great point. All right, I got one more here. Zillow's iBuying program.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about this one? Well, it's dead, so I guess it's not even getting any presents. It's done. They just sold the last house this week.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
iBuying in general is tough right now. Open Door's under a lot of fire too. These companies that make these blind purchases, I think wholesaling is tough in general, and that's what they're doing effectively. But if you're not looking at the properties, you're making a blind offer. Like and a couple of us had blind offers come in from buyers. How often does it work out when the buyer doesn't see the home?
Yeah, that's a tough one. It has to be a client that really has to transact, and that's their only way to go about it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But that's a difficult one. And I don't know if they're totally fully blind. Like, do they not go in or have a representative?
They inspect afterwards, and then the deal usually falls apart, or they try
Absolutely.
to renegotiate it.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of people on Santa's naughty list this year.
Uh-huh.
It's not good. Anything else you guys want to add? I thought that was pretty comprehensive. I think we hit on a lot of great stuff here. I mean, this was a very festive segment. Yeah. Next year I'll wear a light-up sweater or something. All right. That's all we have for the naughty and nice list in real estate for 2022. We're going to come back, take a quick break, and we're going to talk about Lindsay Wark, killer first year in real estate. Super grateful she's part of our organization, part of our team. This is Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestatescholarshipprogram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline at tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America is equal housing lender, NMLS 1285001.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline.
All right. We are back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. She's Stacey Mitchell. We've got super agent, killer team member, Lindsay Wark in the house, and we've got Nick behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 team in RE/MAX since 2018 in Pennsylvania. And we're streaming live every week on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. Make sure to follow, subscribe, stay in touch, and check out the stream every week. So we are here to talk all about our good friend, Lindsay Wark. She has had an amazing first 12 months in real estate, closing millions of dollars. You got the numbers ready. I can give them to you if you need them. So 18 transactions, over $8 million in volume, just under $9 million in 12 months, which would be a great year for anybody in real estate, let alone someone relocating here from out of the area. So if you want to follow Lindsay, it's at Lindsay with an AY at the end of Lindsay. People spell this wrong all the time.
There's A's in both of my last names. Yeah. So it's Lindsay with an A and Wark with an A, not Wark with an O. But
Lindsay_Wark on Instagram. So Lindsay, tell us about your background, how you got here, how you ended up down in the area, and we're going to focus all about you and your business.
All right, awesome. So I went to Roger Williams University for college. I did marketing and global communications. When I graduated, I did a few different jobs, and then I stuck with, I always worked in retail, so I ended up being a visual merchandise manager for a company that, or I guess H&M, it doesn't matter if I say it or not. I'm like,
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not that big. So I did that for a while. Then I met my husband, and we had a baby, so I decided to take off work. So I stopped working for the past 2 years. We were living up in Massachusetts at the time, and so my husband's from here, though, so he grew up in Broomall, and his family is all here. We ended up moving back, like, the week before COVID started, before we kind of knew everything was
great timing to
down.
meet some new people.
Perfect time to check out a new area. We ended up moving here. I think we had one night out with everybody, and then that was it. Like 2 days after that, everything shut down.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it was kind of crazy. I also was living with my in-laws when we moved down here because we didn't have a place right away, so we moved in with them. We were helping take care of them, and it was pretty nuts. So we bounced around a little bit, and then I just could no longer stay home. Props to stay-at-home mothers. Oh my gosh, I was home for 2 years with him, and he is the love of my life. But oh my gosh, I had to go back to work. So I'd always have a love of real estate, and so and sales and that. So I thought, why not take the jump and go for it? So that's when I got my real estate license and started doing the damn thing.
Well, and you know, as soon as I met you the first time, I mean, I definitely, I could see, like, some people have, like, this, you can't even, like, describe it, but it's this, like, ability to connect with people and build relationships, and it's a skill. And not everyone has this skill, which I'm obviously your results speak for themselves, and you definitely have the skill.
Thank you.
So what got you excited about real estate in the first place, though? I mean, your background is very similar to a lot of other people's, but, like, you said you always loved real estate. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I even said this in our interview. Like, I was like, I stalk Zillow all the time. Like, at the time, I was like, there's no money in my bank account, but I am looking at, like, $4 million houses every day, thinking that it's absolutely possible that I am going to move into this house. Absolutely. Running the numbers, it could work. So I think I always just had that, like, love of it. I love working with people. So I love, like, the connections that I build with the families that I meet. and going through that whole process of walking them through buying their dream home or buying their first home or, whatever that is. I love the relationships that I get to build from it. So that was just that's what made sense for me to go into real estate. I love selling things, so why not, instead of selling, a handbag, let's sell a house, so.
Sometimes handbags have a bigger cash down payment than houses.
Sometimes they do.
So, the fact that you said you like people, this is a people business, first and foremost. Everyone thinks you need to know all about, like, houses and how they work. I could not disagree more with that. That is something you can learn very easily. What you can't learn how to do is connect with people on a real level. I think that's something some people. Have you ever met the person, like, they couldn't have a conversation with a brick wall? Like, but they know how to build a house. Like, it's so. I love that. So you had some tremendous success this year in a market that shifted pretty dramatically about halfway through. So what are some of the things that you did to keep yourself going? What do you attribute that to? I mean, I know what it is, but I think it's important for the people listening to understand all this.
I think one thing that I've always talked about and I'm always working on is my organization, because, my husband, he's an electrician. He owns his own electrical business. So he is wild all the time and really busy too. So our schedules are really weird. We have a 3.5-year-old son who's wild in and of himself. So just like needing to stay organized has been something that, that's flowed through every aspect of what I need to do, and whether it's good some week and bad some others, it just is a learning curve. But what was the beginning of that question?
So getting organized is one of the things that you've kind of done to keep your business going.
Yeah. But building skills too. So I'm trying to think of. I know there was more I was trying to say. So like the skills. So like you said, I came into it, not knowing a lot about real estate and having to learn all of these skills. I mean, I go to every meeting. I don't have to come into the office. I love coming into the office because I have learned so much from it. I go to every meeting I can. I try to listen to podcasts. I try to connect with people. I mean, if you look at who I follow on Instagram, it's all going to be just like other realtors who are doing amazing job. And I try to take from that. And we're on an awesome team, and you guys are totally, inspirations for sure. So I think just putting in the effort to know that you have to learn. I think a lot of people try to pretend that they're perfect and they know what they're doing and they don't want to ask questions. I have never been afraid to ask questions, and I think that's really what's helped my business a lot.
Well, you have a growth mindset. That's what that is. And I as a new person coming into the business, I think there's like these different levels of learning. So you get here, you don't know anything, right? You don't know what you don't know. But then you start to learn some things, but you know what you don't know. And then some people they do a couple deals, and this is the trap for real estate agents, and tell me what you think. They get to like 5 or 7 sales, right? And they're like, all right, I know what I'm doing now. I got this. And then they stop doing all the things that got them there in the first place, or you come to. She's literally at every meeting. I mean, I think but it's a testament to you. And you don't always pick up a ton of new things, but if you get like one little piece here or there, it can go a long way. And instead of just stopping, you've continued to work on yourself, and that's why you're going to have a bigger year next year. And I think that's really important. And all 3 of you guys come to a ton of trainings. I think that's obviously evident. The other thing you said is getting organized. This is a good thing. You know why? Because you're either selling real estate or you're getting organized. The most organized agents aren't the ones that sell the most real estate. Have you ever kind of picked up on that? You gotta have that skill there. So I think that's really, really smart. So, so tell us a little bit about you. So you mentioned Mav, that's your son, Rich, your husband. I mean, tell us a little bit about them and how you've been able to balance all that, because I think it's tough being a mom, being a wife, and being a real estate agent.
Sure, and moving to a whole new area.
Yes.
And making all new friends and not knowing anyone. I mean, my in-laws have been great and have, help out a lot with taking care of Maverick. But it's been an uphill journey. I think my biggest problem is trying to figure out, okay, what percentage of me is a mom today? What percentage of me is a real estate agent today? What is a wife today? And those 3 things have been, some days you're just going to be more one than the other. And that is perfectly fine. And I think learning that it's perfectly fine, I at first wanted to be 100% for everything. Why couldn't I? Other people do it. Okay, they don't. Like,
like very
hot
true.
take, they don't. They are, it's not true. Like, that's just not it. Like, you look at people's lives on Instagram and everything looks perfect. Like, I'm sure my life looks perfect on Instagram. It's very curated, but it's not. Like, I think I need to be more real because it is difficult. So trying to just, I think, forgiving yourself a lot is something that like has been that I have to do. Like, I have to understand that I'm not going to be Superwoman every single day, but I'm putting my 100% in. And so that's just, kind of where it is, and just understanding that, life is crazy.
How refreshing is that to hear?
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right that like there's each day you can only be so much of each part of what you are, and you try to do the best you can with the part that you can give to that segment that day. Yeah. But like there's gonna be some days where like you kind of like failed at each section of like what you were trying to do 100% of, and you just have to be like, well, tomorrow
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But I think going through it too, I honestly wouldn't be able to do it all like without an amazing husband. Like, he just is like my partner in crime, like gets me through everything, So I think having a supportive husband, especially in real estate, like our jobs are crazy. It's not a normal 9 to 5 where like your spouse can like understand it. So having that is been huge as well.
You have to have a supportive spouse in real estate. I don't think there's any. I think I've probably been the closest to death with mine after all the crap that I've put her through, and rightly so. But I mean, do you guys feel any other way about that? I think that is such a good and you got to be a team, right? I mean, and being married's tough. Yeah. So and a lot of people downplay that.
Yeah, you have to be a team.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think like what can be a little bit tricky with real estate is things do pop up last minute. So you can try and like map out your days best that you can, and like there will be things that pop up. So I guess like just as soon as that happens, being able to try and like get ahead of it and figure out like, can I still make this showing, or do I need to reschedule this, or like can X chip in here, or, you know what I mean? Like just figuring out all the pieces.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it helps your husband understand this because he's in business for himself as well?
I think it definitely helps. I think he always like had a pretty good open mind with it, and his, he comes from a family of like owning businesses and things like that. So I think he always had a good understanding of it, but especially now, we're able to relate to each other. He relates to me, I relate to him. I understand how it is, I'm like, okay, well, make sure you follow up with them. Like all these stupid things.
Love that. Oh, that's great.
So yeah, it's just it's fun. It's a wild ride, but it's fun.
Yeah. What is funny, I feel like Tom, like in different meetings, will mention like protecting your own time, and like, your spouse or your partner or whoever is going to get mad at you if you just like, are working all the time or like taking all these showings. And I'm like, Eric is always like, go get back on the phone, go take another appointment. Like, we'll all cover the baby, go work, And so I'm like, he's never like, no.
Have you met my wife? No. Yes. But it's also different too. I think everyone's got to. The point is though, it's not saying they're going to be mad. I'm saying it's not cool when you blow something off because you mess
don't
up.
Communicate about it.
Yes.
Communication.
These are the mistakes I've made.
In everything, in relationships and business and life, communication over it all.
That was one of your naughty and nice list items. So that's really good. So we got like a minute left here. Knowing what you know now, for someone thinking about getting into real estate, what advice do you have for them, or what would you have done anything differently over the past year? And obviously, it's a loaded question because 2020's hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah, for sure. I think I maybe would have wanted to go into it. I mean, I think everyone gets into real estate thinking it's going to be easy, or thinking that it's just going to be all highs, but like the lows can get pretty low too. So I think kind of maybe understanding that a little bit more would have helped my anxiety along the way starting out, because it does take traction to get it going. I think maybe if I had more of a nest egg, so you're not so stressed out in the beginning, but once the ball rolls, like don't stop that. Like I think that's like a huge thing, is like when the ball is rolling and you're doing really well, we were just talking about this too, like I have all these closes happening and I'm a little stressed, but I want to like take your foot off the gas, but as soon as you do that, you're going to lose your momentum. So I think so many times throughout my first year, I took my foot off the gas because I got a little overwhelmed and maybe I wasn't, being as organized with my time as I should be or things like that. So there were those moments where I went a couple months or so, without getting a paycheck. And that, I think I would have just kept my foot on the gas.
That's great advice. And I what's exciting to me is this now. Think about what's going to happen this year. Imagine what's going to happen now that you know all this because you're ready to go and you're in action. I think that's the exciting part. Is it's constant build. It's not like it's okay. Well, I did this. I can't move up. I can't raise the ceiling. That's the really exciting part about this job here. So that's good stuff. Well, if you want to follow Lindsay, it's at Lindsay_Wark on Instagram. I got to tell you, we are super grateful to have you part of the organization. I don't think we tell you this enough. At least I try to, but maybe don't do a great job. You've been a great part of the team here, and we are looking forward to even more success in 2023. That's it for this week's episode. We're out of here. So you want to follow Sarah. She's at Ty_TyTime. You can follow Stacey at _2 Mitchko on Instagram. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD, at Tom Toole 3rd. And again, we are live every week. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. Thanks for tuning in to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.